I'll definitely be a full participant uh, all season. That's my goal. As far as how I feel, it feels really good right now. Just working in a football shape. Dr. Andrews did a great job this offseason cleaning me up, getting me right. I've been working even through these weird times. Been working all off season, so now it's just about getting in football shape. So, but as far as 11 on 11, I plan on being in all of that all year.
It's Josh Gibel from AP. So, as a defensive end, do you think there would be a fairness issue if you guys were not allowed to have fans at your home games and some teams were allowed to have fans?
Repeat the question.
Do you think there would be a fairness issue if some teams were allowed to have fans at their home games and other teams weren't?
Uh, I think so. I mean, I think the fans definitely give you an advantage, especially on defense and just for your team. That spirit. I would rather see it one way, just because that does. I feel like we'll be lying to ourselves if we say it doesn't play um, a role in the game. So, but me personally, it really don't matter. We're gonna roll out and play either way.
Hey D, obviously last year not the year you wanted to have just because of the knee issues. Now that that's cleaned up, how big a year is this for you in your mind in terms of just kind of reestablishing yourself?
Every year is a big year for me because we can't play this game forever. So I'm really trying to leave my legacy. So every year is a big year for me. Um, I treat every day like a new opportunity to get better. 1% better for all of us is really good. So we always fighting for that 1% of your full potential, and we all trying to reach our full potentials every day. So that's my approach every day that I step on the field. I want to get better.
D, this is Chris Peterman from the Sacramento Bee. You prepared for George Kittle when you were a member of the Chiefs early in the 2018 season. Do you have any memories of the battles you guys had along the line of scrimmage and him blocking you in that game? And could you describe maybe what he's like to go against in practice? I know those reps have been limited, but if you have.
I do remember that. I remember that game. Me, him, and Joe talked a lot when I was in my last year in Kansas City, in between the plays. So it was a very fun game. Kittle is Kittle, man. He's a beast, and of course we planned for him, and he uh, still worked us, and it was fun. Great competition. As far as practice, Kittle is Kittle. He's gonna make plays. He's gonna block. He's best blocking tight end, best catching tight end, best tight end in the league. So it's always good competition going against him, and I'm proud of him. And he really deserves every penny.
AD, this is David Lombardi. Just a couple hours ago, Kyle Shanahan described your team's mentality right now. He said that you guys were obsessed with details and obsessed with getting back to the Super Bowl. And he really emphasized the word obsessed. I'm wondering what detail in particular somebody like you would be obsessed about improving. And if you could just elaborate a little bit on what Kyle said about the focus of your team.
Something as simple as getting off on the ball for a defensive lineman. That's that sounds very simple, but you cut on the tape. Not a lot of guys get off the ball every play. You know what I mean? So focusing on something like that goes back to that 1% that I was talking about earlier. We're trying to get better. We're trying to reach our full potential, even if it's 1% a day. We don't care what it is. We are obsessed with just getting better. That's hard to do when you're as good as we were last year. You know what I mean? And you really don't try to reinvent the wheel. You just focus on small things. Be obsessed with detail. That is that 1% that we're fighting for.
Yeah, D. I'm just curious as to whether considering you had the knee issue in the preseason and then you had the hamstring. uh, Did the 49er fans did they ever see the real D Ford last year at any point?
I, at moments, but not consistently. Not to my level. No, not to my expectations. No. At times, and I did what I could while I could. I did not want to miss that season and leave my team hanging. So I mean, I just did what I had to do, and we got it. That's part of football. It's a 100% guaranteed injury business. So you just have guys who are willing to play, even if, especially late in the season. You have guys who, when you have guys who are willing to play. Sherm was injured. We had a lot of guys injured. That's just what you got to do. You just got to deal with where you are and provide that for the team because you're only giving 53 for the season. So, but no, I don't feel like you saw glimpses of me, but not to that full throttle.
Yeah, obviously there's probably a very limited sample size since you haven't had real practices or anything. But what have your impressions been of Javon Kinlaw, whether it's just the way he's learning or his size or what have you?
Everything that you want to see in a rookie. He wants to be a sponge. He wants to soak everything up, and he wants to learn. He reminds me of Bosa when he came in. Didn't say too much. Not trying to be. And when you're a first round draft pick, you can come in and you can smell yourself, and you can be a little entitled. That's not him. That's not his DNA. He fits in well with the guys. So when you come here, John and Kyle, they get specific players. So 9 times out of 10, if they got him, they brought him here. They know what type of character they have, and so far he's been everything as promised, and he's gonna get better. He's gonna get better. He's behind the 8 ball. Every rookie is because of the virus and all that. And you can't get OTAs. OTAs was crucial for me, especially with learning a new position my rookie year. So I can only imagine, where his mind is right now. But he's handling it very well. So he's gonna be really good.
Hey, Dee, it's Jennifer. Kind of in that same grain, how hard is it to have that transition from college to the NFL? And then for you, coming back after this kind of different offseason, what is that transition for all of you to build your chemistry?
Um, as far as me coming back from off season, for this D line, each year we have to understand that this is a new year. This is a new team, and it's gonna take, if not more, it's gonna take a lot for us to be better than we were last year, or even to even match that last year. So we all understand that this is a new year. Whatever you did last year really don't matter. And so we have a clean slate. We're working just like our backs were against the wall last year. And so we all have that understanding, and we bring that to work every day. And can you repeat the first question for me? Can you repeat your first question?
Yeah, sorry, I had to be unmuted. Just for Javon, with that transition, how hard is that going to be for him with this extended offseason, not getting that, OTAs and rookie minicamp?
It's going to be a challenge, but honestly, this defense is simple. It's going to be a challenge as far as trying to apply it to different offenses in different games. But this defense is simple. They're not gonna give him too much. They, as in Coach Chris and Salah, they're not gonna put too much on his plate. So they're gonna simplify, and they're gonna bring him along, and he's gonna be able to do what he do best, and he can rush the passer, and he's a big dude, so he can plug up some gaps and make plays in the run game. They're gonna give him chances and opportunities to do what he do best. They're not gonna overload him too much mentally, so I don't worry about him.
Hey, D, Kyle Posey, Niners Nation. You said you want to be a full participant all season. So what's a successful season look like for D Ford? Is it 15 sacks? Is it just playing a full season? What is that for you?
A successful season for me is me every play being the best that I can be every play and being available every play. That's a successful season. The numbers will always take care of itself because we all know what type of player that I am. Every player knows what type of player they are, but it's just about showing up every play, every down, every game. That's my goal. I know if I'm out on that field, I know what happens when I'm out on the field. But if I'm not on the field, it's null and void.
D, we talked to Nick Bosa last week, and he kind of ran down a list of things that he'd like to be better at. I'm just curious, from your perspective, what what ways can he be better? What kind of expectations do you have for Nick Bosa in year 2?
As far as I don't know if you said I don't have I just expect him to be Nick. As far as him, um, I would hope that's his sort of a personal question. But I mean, he knows little things that he can get better at. As good as he was last year, he was great last year. He was tremendous last year. He has a lot of things that he can clean up to be even better. That's everybody. In sports, you're never gonna be 100%. Never gonna be 100%. So you always got something to work towards. We have a great coach who's gonna keep you honest and remind you that you may be very good, you may be great, but there's still something you can get better at. And so, every day that we come to work, we actually just talked about that today in our meetings, something that we all can get better at, and we all named it. And so, crazy you asked that question. It's always something to get better at.
Hey, D, it's Tracy Sandler. A lot of your teammates have talked about just the energy around the building after kind of a strange offseason where you guys didn't get to be together. Can you talk about what it's been like now that you guys are back together?
It was a adjustment. I was so happy to see everybody. I kind of forgot about it, but it was an adjustment. We're used to it. We're used to it now. Um, you got to wear the trackers and all that. You got to wear your mask and all that. So we have a great plan. We feel very confident in what we're doing every day. I feel comfortable coming to work every day. Um, and I feel like everybody in the building feels the same way. So we're able to operate the same, honestly. Other than the mask, it's work at the end of the day.
Hey, D, if everybody talked about ways that they can get better individually, what's the way you can get better individually? What did you say?
Well, other than, what we spoke on as far as being available, and get off. Those are my two things. Chris always points out that I'm a great closer, but my actual get off, the initial get off from when the ball snaps can be a lot better. And so, and if you are glued into the ball every single play, a lot of defensive linemen, anybody who play on the front is going to be a whole lot better. And it's tough to glue in on the ball every single down. And that's one of my goals. And, of course, exploding off blocks, making plays, all that. So we do the right things, take care of your fundamentals, that all production will come.
All right, that's it for D. We'll be back with K1 in a couple minutes.
Hey, spray this off, man.
folks. We've got K1. Go ahead with your questions.
Hey, Juan, this is Chris Biederman from the Sacramento Bee. I assume you've covered George Kittle quite a bit during practices, and I'm sure you've covered a bunch of other tight ends throughout the league. I know a lot of people consider him he's the best, and I would expect you to say something similar. But what's it like to try to cover George Kittle from a defensive back's perspective?
You just gotta be disciplined from the starter down to the end because he's just real crafty. He's strong, and he's just relentless in everything he does. You know, he's willing to block in the run game, so you just gotta be on your A game going against a guy like that.
K1, obviously a lot of things changed during this offseason, kind of a wild time, including the salary cap for next year. I'm curious, as a guy who's scheduled to be a free agent after this season, if you paid much attention to the potential salary cap drop, and what were your thoughts on that?
I haven't really paid too much focus on that. I just leave that stuff to my agent and those guys, and then they'll take care of it.
Hey, K1, can you kind of take us through what makes a good nickelback? What are the qualities that contribute to being able to do that very unique skill set? And how are some of the guys behind you? What have you seen from them and how they've developed since you've been with the organization?
Just with playing nickel, you just gotta be real disciplined, and you gotta love your job because you know you gotta do a lot of dirty work. You probably gotta fit in the run game. You gotta cover well, cover these slot receivers well. You just gotta be a complete defender, being a smaller guy in there, being able to mix it up with some of the big guys and cover the smaller guys. And in terms of the development in our group, I mean it's been great. The guys just picking up on all our tendencies in terms of how we do our drops, and we're just working every day and just grinding. And guys are getting better.
Hey, K1, you were extremely effective as a blitzer last season. I think you had 4 forced fumbles and a sack. What do you think made you so effective coming off the edge, and do you expect to have more of those opportunities this year?
Just practice, just keep doing it every day. Just being real serious every time I blitz, take a good rush path, and just keep my eyes on the ball and try to make plays when I arrive at the quarterback.
Okay, well, I'm curious as to how much juice do you get from a crowd, and what will it be like to play in a game if there is no crowd?
It'll be a different dynamic, but I feel like you're gonna have to bring your own juice and be ready to play football in the environment. I feel like you just gotta be able to adapt and just play at a high level.
Hey, K1, it's Jennifer. The other day, Jimmy Garoppolo spoke about Jerick McKinnon, how he runs his routes differently than other receivers. Even though he's a running back, he kind of has that quarterback mentality because he played that position. What do you see from him, and how is he different when you have to cover him or when you watch him?
I mean, he's definitely worked this offseason. I'm excited to see him out there, just being able to make sharp cuts and being confident in his body and just being able to make plays. And it's just been amazing just to see him out there and battling with us again.
Hey, K1, Kyle Posey, Niners Nation. Where do you think you improved the most as a player last season, and how can you improve more even in 2020?
Just understanding everybody's role around me and just being able to just play hard, just go out there and try to make a difference for your defense and just make plays whenever they arrive. And this year is another step to get better. We didn't like how last year ended, so it's a lot of room for improvement, and just been paying the price every day and just working on our technique.
K1, you just mentioned Jerick McKinnon. Your team has a lot of different options that they can line up in the slot this year. Juwan Jennings, Jalen Hurd, Trent Taylor. What does that present to a defense? I mean, from a nickel cornerback's perspective, when you've got that wide array of weapons that you can line up in that spot.
You just got to be prepared for all kind of different receivers. You got bigger, stronger guys and Jalen and those guys, and you got scat guys like Trent. It's gonna give you a lot of moves and real shifty. So you just gotta be real disciplined in your technique and just try to cover those guys as best as you can.
Okay, when D4 just told us that he thought we only saw glimpses of what he could be last year because of a knee injury in training camp and then this hamstring thing. If he's back and you got that jet coming off consistently for the course of a season, what kind of difference would that make for your defense?
It makes a big difference. Having D out there just opens up a lot of rush lanes for other guys. So just knowing he's out there, I know we're just going to be able to attack the ball consistently, having him out there. And I feel like he's done a great job, taking care of his body this offseason and been grinding ever since.
Hey, K1, it's Tracy Sandler. You just said that last season obviously didn't end how you wanted it to. And Raheem said last week that you guys have unfinished business and this year you're going to finish it. Can you talk a little bit about that mindset that's out there in the locker room right now?
Everybody just got their mind on one goal, and that's just attacking every day and not forgetting what got us here. Just being able to work hard every day and just try to get back to that moment so we can finish it. All right.
Hey, K1, what's the attitude been like when you think about the off season and kind of getting back? Everybody's talked about how exciting it's been. Raheem talked about it not being a walkthrough. It was more like a run through. A couple guys have said it's kind of like a game out there. Trent Williams, for instance. How different has it been this kind of coming back this time than last year?
It's been a different dynamic having the room spread out. And yeah, walkthrough has been just real sharp. You can just tell we've been together for a while. Guys know how to practice in terms of the walkthrough. We know how to move. We know how to get our fits correct. So, I mean, coach never had to really coach us up on how to walk through because all the guys take it pretty serious. So it's just been good just having everybody out there.
All right. Thanks, K1.
All right.